Without my glasses? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're going to talk today about maybe one of my biggest insecurities of mine and how it has permeated through a lot of, especially my post transition life, and how so much of it is causing me damage, and why although it's causing me damage, the only person that's doing it to me is me. So, for people who know me, my hair is like this thing. Like, I won't let anyone touch my head. Like, even if people like just touch me like gently up here, like I get like all weird about it and stuff. Like, I get all fidgety. So, um, I mean, I've had a couple of surgeries there. I had hairline advancement, and I still have like extensions in there and all this stuff. And it's just one of those things. And I think there's like trauma in effect in a lot of ways to that area, and that's one part of it. But I think there's other part of it is I associate so strongly with my hair and how it makes me feel comfortable in a lot of ways. But also how it's kind of out of my control, like whether it's nice or if it's not. Like, I could style it, but if it all falls out, that's another thing. So anyways, talking about this insecurity and how it's done all this kind of stuff to me. um, Madison and I were just lying in bed talking after intercourse. And sometimes I have a couple of like strands of hair, and they tickle her, sometimes on her inner thigh, sometimes in different places like her neck. Anyways, so uh, yeah. And it's funny because I was looking at that exchange, and all I'm thinking about is, oh, that's where I had surgery. Oh, that's the hair hasn't grown in, or oh, it's not soft, or it's all of these like transitiony related things, or this trauma that I have, this insecurity I have. Like, it's all of these like really like deep seated feelings and about myself, and all self-imposed. It is something that I've created, and she is, yes, those she gets a little bit of that tickle on her inner thigh. But what is she thinking about? So I asked her, and I was kind of, I guess I kind of knew what the answer was going to be, but I think even just hearing it was, she was like, yeah, that happens all the time to me as well. I never think about it. It's just that thing. And I was like, oh. I guess in a lot of ways, I kind of knew that, but I think I had just kind of held on to this insecurity of mine. And so, like, even when if I go out and stuff, and if I feel a hair touch my face, I have like this visceral reaction. And it's so absurd because I see it happening to other people and nothing happens. They just move their head of the face and go on with their day. And so, uh, just kind of thinking about this thing about how my insecurity and how negatively it's impacting me, how much energy I'm spending analyzing and crushing me in a lot of ways, and so incredibly unnecessarily. Uh, sometimes the things that hold us back are because we hold on so tightly, you know? And instead of holding on tightly to this thing that we can't help but look at, it, the easiest thing is to just let it go. And I know it sounds a lot easier to do than to actually do in practice. And I'm going to take that lesson that I learned today about my hair, and well, maybe not wasn't today. And I'm going to take that lesson that I learned about my hair and be like, okay, these insecurities I have, hair, height, whatever, um, so much of it is self imposed. It's not what other people are thinking. Most people are thinking they're so incredibly self absorbed and so incredibly not paying attention and so not judging and so not thinking those things that, we think. And lots of times we think about ourselves. Um, and so, how do you do this? How do you let go of this thing when I watch a TV show and I'm watching the girls on like Love Island or Love is Blind or one of the other dating shows, reality dating shows that we watch. And they always have such perfectly coiffed hair and and I look at them and I just have this jealousy, comparison, all of these things. And it's ruining it for me. It's ruining so many things instead of just being able to watch the show and relax. Instead of being able to just have this hair and chill the fuck out. I guess that's what it is. It's the letting go of this thing and trying not to think about it because it's so hard, like this insecurity of mine is this thing that I've had for like a very long time. Oh, I can't even do this fucking pose. I can't do it for a very long time. And I've been thinking about it since I started transitioning. I had hair transplant surgeries, hair advancement, all of this stuff. And so it's something that I have put great weight on, but the rest of the world doesn't. And most definitely, the rest of the world isn't spending their days thinking about Victoria's hair, obviously. And I can tell myself that, and I realize that. And obviously, it's so obvious consciously, but I can't help it. I think every time I go, everywhere I go, I always think something like that. And what's the practice of letting go of that kind of thing? What does it look like? Sometimes it comes down to literally having a thought and being like, okay, great. Glad you had that thought. Now let's move on. Let's go to something else. Let's distract ourselves. It's like I used to bite my nails really, really badly. And I still do, especially if I don't have them done like I don't now. I haven't had them done for like 6 or 7 weeks and I hate it. But anyways, so I have this thing that I've been biting my nails for 35, 40 years. And when I transitioned, I let a lot of that go because I could get my nails done and I loved the way it looked and all of this stuff. But letting go of that need was, thinking about biting my nails and then being like, actually, let's do something else. Let's try something else. Let's consciously spend the effort to go away from that behavior. And then that can start to create a new groove in yourself, right? Where you're like, oh yeah, and I'm still fine. I don't need to bite my nails now, And so over and over and over again, practicing that. Me, every time I look at a girl with pretty hair and I'm like, oh, she has such pretty hair. And the reality is, it's just because I'm so hyper focused on this thing. And when the reality is, it's probably lots of extensions too. And if it's not, that's okay. She can have beautiful hair. It doesn't really matter. That's okay. And I can have nice hair myself. So, anyways, with that, I love you guys.